with me, Irubaid Ibrahim. It's quite a shame that anytime groups of industrialized countries are mentioned, Ghana doesn't come any close. We aren't a member of the G8. We aren't a member of the G20 as well. For a country to industrialize, it should learn to grow, to eat what it grows and use what it manufactures. And today we are discussing challenges faced by local industries, and we couldn't have had a better team than a team coming from the Crystal Asafo stock, and that is not only into ministry but is also into automobile production. So we are discussing cars, we are discussing machines, we are discussing heavy equipment that are all produced by the Crystal Asafo under the leadership of Apostle Kojo Safo Kantanka. We are joined in the studio to my immediate right by Osei Kwame Bempa. He's the chairperson of media and publicity for the group. Sir, good to have you.
Thank you.
And then we are joined by lawyer Owusu Bidu. I almost said Beidu. He's the general secretary, Crystal Asafo Mission of Ghana. Sir, good to have you. I think I'll start with you. We will zero in on the exhibition that will climax the end of the year. But then, what gives the Crystal Asafo Mission of Ghana the impetus to go beyond ministry or theology? We are a very religious nation that believes in prayer. We pray for everything. What makes you so practical and pragmatic to go into manufacturing?
Thank you very much. I think everybody who wants to do something great, something big, has his own set of goals that the person will set himself. He has his own vision, he has his philosophy, and he has his plan to execute his programs. Crystal Asafo was set up by Apostle Dr. Kojo Safo. He is the main brain behind everything that we do. So what we do now, apart from preaching the gospel to win souls for Christ, the practical aspects that we see now is his philosophy for life. He believes that man must live by prayer alone, because everything that we need in this earth, on this earth, they are more physical things. And a lot of the things that we need are more physical. And so there's a need for us to go beyond just prayer and begin to research into the kind of things that we need in our daily lives, such that our lives on earth will not be so burdensome, but will be so easy flowing, to ensure that we live here and be proud of who we are and how God made us. So Apostle, in his wisdom, decided that apart from preaching the gospel and winning souls for Christ, we are also going to research into science and technology with the main aim of producing our own needs, from what we eat, where we sleep, where we sit in as cars, what we use, what we wear, and everything around us. So if you look at the onset, at the very inception of the church, he started with agriculture. And his main aim was to produce what we will eat ourselves. We need not rely on others to feed us. When God created Adam and Eve, he put them in the garden and told them that you are to take dominion over all that is in this place. So you have to be very responsible. You have to take control. So you don't leave what you need in your daily lives in the hands of another person. Somebody else will for him to produce, and that person will come and sell to you, at times at exorbitant prices, simply because you cannot produce them. So if you look at the philosophy of Apostle Kojo Safo, which is now the philosophy of Crystal Asafo, we believe in the gospel, we believe in God, all right, but we also believe that God himself is a creator. And after the creation of man and woman, the two people, God never came down to create anything again. It is human beings who took up that challenge to reproduce. Why is it that after reproduction we are reproducing? But when it comes to manufacturing equipment, machines, going to space or doing aircraft and so on, we think that we cannot do. But the whole thing boils down to the fact that some people have managed to do it. But the African is the one who is lacking behind. Okay. So the question is, why is the African unable to persevere into those areas?
Council, that is a very impressive preamble. I'll come to you shortly. Mr. Bempa, good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
You've been with Apostle through thick and thin. Council says a nation can only industrialize when it controls all the factors of production. Are you saying that apart from preaching the gospel, Apostle also is a Pan-Africanist, and he believes that the way to go is that Africa should stand on its feet?
Thank you very much. Apostle is more than a Pan-Africanist, because he thinks that, like the General Secretary did indicate, the production, research, experiment, and production of scientific and technological equipment is not the exclusive preserve of the white race alone. He even thinks and believes that through his research, it is even the black race that started creation, inventions, and manufacturing. And that at a certain point in time, you are an international relations specialist. If you read about history, if you read about the nations and the way they developed, if you look at the 30 years war up to the time that Europe was scrambled for things in Africa, if you look at slavery and the kind of impact that it had on Africans, if you read the International Encyclopedia of Black History and Culture, you realize that people who were taken from Black Africa and sent to the Americans and other parts of the world were the people with ingenuity, people with creativity, people who were very innovative, and they brought the technology from here. They took it there. Because they were in slavery and servitude, they were put somewhere else, and their masters took the inventions, developed upon them, and now they are claiming ownership of those things. So Apostle is saying that no, we are assuming, let us even assume that God created all of us, the white and the black. Why is it that someone would have the capacity and the other would not have? We can also do it. So the can-do spirit is one aspect of Apostle that he has to inculcate. He intends to inculcate the can-do spirit in the African and give us that kind of leadership, that kind of inspiration that it can be done. So he starts from the scratch and he builds, he dreams of it, and he tells you that you can do this, and yes, at the end of the day you'll be able to do it. So he is more than a Pan-Africanist, and what he sees is that almost every religion in the world teaches about the spirit being and the physical being. And like my boss did indicate, you cannot say that you are preaching the gospel and winning souls for Christ and concentrating on the spiritual aspect alone. What about the physical aspect? Man must eat to live, for the spirit to be happy. Man must get close to where he has to get a very decent place to sleep, and all other things. And these things, God will not come and create it for you. You have to go and cultivate your own farm, plant, so that God will do his part for you to get the produce and eat to sustain yourself. So at the end of the day, Apostle wants us to understand that there is the aspect of religion that is in God's domain. But when it comes to the practical aspect, you, the individual, you've been given the capacity, like he mentioned about dominion, and that capacity is to use your brains to think about something, to initiate something, so that you continue God's creation. That is what the Apostle is leading us to do.
I'll give you a field day for a minute or two, then we go to the gray areas, criticisms, and that what Apostle does defies empirical evidence, and the fact that we're also getting VW to gather. But I'll take you to those gray areas. But in the meantime, can you give us, very soon we'll give you shots of a sample of a pickup that has been manufactured by the Crystal Automobile Company. Kantanka Automobile Company. I would ask you this question. how do we see the final product? How do you get your raw materials? Do you employ students that just graduated from KNUST? Are you hands-on for us to see the resplendent final products we see on the streets?
Very well. This whole project started in 1990. I was then a student of University of Ghana. I came to meet Apostle, who had then started with some group of young men. In fact, they were only two, and they were into blacksmithing. That was what they were doing initially, trying to use it to forge some metals. Then he told them, our main aim is to manufacture an engine, which is the main component when it comes to all manner of machines that move. Engine is the key. If you're able to manufacture the engine, you can manufacture the aircraft, submarines, whatever, cars, tipper trucks, you can manufacture everything. So when he told them, they doubted him. We are just beginning. We are doing blacksmithing, minting and forging some few metals here and there. Then you want to jump into manufacture of engines? That is for the white man. We can't. Then Apostle told them, we can. So he worked with them for some time, and it got to a point, there were a few issues here and there, so they decided that they wouldn't even continue the project with Apostle again. So they abandoned the project and left. And when they were going, I remember I was around, and they told me, look, we are the main people Apostle is doing this engine project with. We are going. We will see how Apostle will succeed. And they left around 1994. So in 95, Apostle assembled another group of people. These people were using aluminium to manufacture cooking utensils and so on. So he put them together and then started training them. So fortunately, a trade fair was coming up. The 1996 trade fair, it was coming up. So Apostle told them that at this trade fair, we're going to exhibit an engine, a four-cylinder engine made by ourselves, a Ghanaian made. Then everybody marveled, how is this possible? So he started with the engine block, and then later with the cylinder head. And he used aluminium, got a crucible, and then got some of the metals, started calculating the temperature for boiling point and all those things in his own. So at a time he was able to melt the thing into liquid, and then he will cast and it will take the shape. So after doing one or two experiments, he decided that he would go into the manufacturing of the engine. And he manufactured the engine block and the cylinder head and put all the fittings and connections together. And then fortunately, in February 1996, Apostle was able to spark the first engine. And that created a lot of excitement in the house that day. I remember when we were about to go to the trade fair. And when he did this, he told us that, look, we can manufacture vehicles. And that was way back in 1996. So if you see the Kantanka today, in 2018, we started about 2016, the mass production. Look, if Apostle had gotten the needed financial support, I'm sure we would have started manufacturing vehicles long ago. So what we see now is something Apostle has been doing for years and has trained a large number of people. At least today we can count not less than 450 people under his tutelage in various departments of science and technology.
Council, just a sec. Just on your screen says a sample of the engine. This is a whole pickup that we have packed outside the studios here at GTV. So you were talking about 4 cylinders. So this is standard according to international whatever.
It is.
Okay.
So
what is how do you respond to the allegation that you piece together equipment you surreptitiously import from China? How would you respond to that?
Well, You see, we have two sets of plants at our end. We have one set where we use handmade. So we start with the manufacturing process bit by bit and do everything. That one takes some time. And we have the other aspect where we have put together an assembling plant. And that one, we have parts that we fit together with some of our parts, and then we put them together and we put them on sale. So we have two sets.
You are a human being,
yes.
A perfect, a very handsome man for that matter. The engine within this machine is your heart.
Yes.
And so we want to know, is it the limbs you get from elsewhere, or the fact that you have manufactured the heart, you've created a human being?
Yes, we manufacture the engines ourselves. And even the parts, we manufacture them. But what I'm trying to put across is that if you look at the two sets of manufacturing systems that we operate now, we have one set that is fully Ghanaian made, everything. And then we have the other set where we have some parts with some of our engines put together at the manufacturing plant site.
Take a little breather. Mr. Bempa, those who are throwing around this criticism, whether VW or Toyota, it isn't too much of a crime to import certain parts from other parts of the world. So why do people they keep harkening on the fact that you do very little in the production process but import wholesale from other parts of the world?
I think that it is due to the kind of mindset that we were talking about from the beginning, because we've made to understand that we cannot do it. So if it can be done, then it is somebody else who have done it and you are coming to copy. That is a very unfortunate situation that has been left to us as Africans. Because like he said, as you sit here, if you go to VW, Toyota, and any of the major brands in the world, and you want to tell them that this one was a customized Toyota Camry, which will be handmade, they can do it by hand for you, but it will not be like the assembly one that will take about just 3 seconds to be done. So anywhere you go, the customized handmade one it takes a long time to produce. It also goes with materials that are customized, and for that matter, the price is very high than the one that will be done within the assembly process. That is what is done. The Apostle started, like he said, from the hand, from the scratch. You do the casting, the forging, and every process. So if you come and order, say, Kantanka Utumfo, some of the handmade ones, Kantanka Utumfo, Kantanka Onantefo, Kantanka Odeneho, and the one that he himself used, Kantanka Okatechi, they are big, very big, the limousine type. Sometimes it takes him about 9 months, 6 months, or a year to finish one. That is not commercially viable. So at the end of the day, people who are asking, sometimes I look at it and I say no. Sometimes they are coming from extremists with some kind of ignorant position. They don't know the automobile industry. So they will just say that, oh, you don't do it. It is not that we do it. If you go to Toyota now, the kind of things that they assemble, that is why we call it vehicle or automobile assembling. Sometimes you go, they take the tail light from another company, the cylinder head is built from somewhere else, the doors are produced from somewhere else, and they put them together and assemble. But when it comes to the wholly manufactured ones, so for example, if you look at these artists, the boxers, the footballers, the musicians, yes, they go to, let's say, VW or Daimler Chrysler, they tell them that we want the customized ones. And the car that you can get in town for about 42,000 euro or dollars, you will buy it for about $500,000. Why? Because it is handmade, and they think that the products that they use are more quality than the ones that they use to do the general assembly. So I think that these days, I remember when engineer Robert Hu, the crusading engineer, Professor Komar from Boate first came to meet Apostle. They told him, and that was around 2001, he told him, Apostle, in Accra, he said, oh, bread, I mean, why are you going through all this stress? You can get this and this and this from somewhere, put them together and assemble, and then you go and say, no, I want to leave the technology and the know-how with my people. If I continue with the assembly, how would my people know how to produce an engine? So I will start from there, teach them how to do the engine. So if at a certain point in time I'm not there, I will not say that I left with them only assembling, but I left with them manufacturing of vehicles, automobile engines. So it is not true. And if even it was to be true, there is nothing wrong with it, that we can take the engine from Mitsubishi or Suzuki or from anywhere. We buy the doors from somewhere else. We buy the frame from somewhere else, put them together and assemble. So the Kantanka franchise. You go to Peugeot, they have an assembly plant at Nigeria. It's been operating since 1972. It is still Peugeot. You go to Toyota, they have assembly plants scattered all along. You go to Pontiac Vibe. Pontiac Vibe is all Toyota parts that they used to do. The high shoe, they take it from Nissan and they do the assembly. So there is nothing wrong if even Apostle was to be doing
that question.
Yes.
The Kantanka Automobile Limited or company does more than just manufacturing cars. We'll dive into that. But then there are two quick questions. Maybe I'll split the questions between you and council. The first one is that your cars are too expensive. You don't make cars for the ordinary Ghanaian. And can't you make smaller cars so people can easily patronize? Recently we see Uber type cars bearing the Kantanka logo. So have you taken into cognizance that you can only be selling astronomically high in this industry? If you want Ghanaians to patronize Ghanaian products, why don't you beat down the price?
Number one, if people say we don't manufacture small cars, I don't think it is wholly correct. Because small in what sense? I don't know if you are familiar with this car that they call Nissan March. It is very small
in size.
Small in size, but the engine capacity 1.6. I don't know if you are familiar with Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla. The engine capacity ranges from 1.6 to 1.8. But the Kantanka vehicles, apart from the pickups that we brought and the SUVs, the Kantanka K71 is 1.4 engine capacity. The Monima is 1.4, and recently the Mensa is 1.6. So when you compare it with Toyota Corolla, Nissan, whatever, what are people saying small? I don't understand what they mean by small. They are small because the engine capacity is 1.4. So if you compare it to Nissan March, you see Nissan March as being smaller in size. But when it even comes to the engine capacity, K71, which is bigger in size in terms of the size and everything, is even smaller than the Nissan March. And that one is even home use, not the brand new. These ones are brand new. Secondly, when it comes to the pricing, I think that we are still working with the state agencies in terms of customs, GRA and others to look at the duties that they impose on the parts that we import. That is what has shot the prices of the cars so high. If at a certain point in time we come into an agreement and they also understand our situation and give us some tax waivers in terms of duties and import duties and sales, any of the cars that we sell, about 20 to 25% will go off.
Mr. Bempa, that's a good answer, but today the show is quite packed because we'll leave the set and go out and have a look at what you have. But we'll talk about other equipment you produce or manufacture, but I can't go without asking you this question, Council. When news broke about government giving the green light for VW to start, assembling here in Ghana, people were asking, do we want to kill local initiative and then give an undue advantage to foreign companies that have already flooded our markets? And this is a state broadcaster. We are in tune with what the state does. But how do you respond to this? Has government been responsive to some of the needs that would produce a conducive enabling environment for Kantanka as a local industry to thrive?
Well, very well. People are of the opinion that once you bring in well-established manufacturing companies from Europe and some of the advanced nations to come and compete in Africa. They equate it, if it were to be a boxing match, like you are putting the featherweight against, let's say, the middleweight. And that obviously is a mismatch. But I don't think that should be a very serious problem for anybody. Personally, I'm of the opinion that if the government of the day or governments in Ghana will set up ground rules for the operation of all these manufacturing concerns and give the local manufacturing industries some kind of protection, some kind of assistance that will allow it to also go through the processes and get to a point where it can easily compete, then I'm sure any other company coming to Ghana will not be an issue at all. So as we speak now, the main problem is that if you take Volkswagen or Toyota, Nissan, or anybody coming to Ghana, where they are coming from, you go into their background, look their historical antecedents, and you realize that their governments over the years have supported them tremendously in terms of finance, equipment, expertise, and everything. For them to reach that height, we are now beginning. So if we are not supported in that same way, how do we grow to that point where we can also compete globally and to match up with all other companies coming here? So I think what the government needs to do is to make sure that all these local manufacturing concerns are heavily supported, because all of them, GM nearly went into bankruptcy and Obama bailed them out. If it were to be Ghana, I don't know what people would have said. So I think we need a deliberate policy aimed at growing our industries, supporting them, making them sustainable, and then making them competitive. Governments should support them clearly so that at the end of the day, whether profit or anything, they will remain here. Nobody will transfer any proceeds outside. And Ghanaians stand to gain. And it will gain in a manner that will reflect and trickle down to almost everybody.
Okay.
Corporate social responsibility,
okay.
Everything.
Okay, so you still have on your shorts the pickup that was brought. It's on some big wheels. How strong is it? It can go to the hinterlands.
Yes, this is very, very strong.
Very durable.
I've used it for about 17 months now.
For now,
I've used it to go to farm.
Goes to farm.
Anywhere.
Everywhere.
And in terms of fuel consumption, I think it is second to none.
Okay, and maybe there will be an opportunity for us to take a stroll so that we have a look at it. The production team will look at that. Beyond the shores of Ghana, when you go past Elubo, this is the final question on cars, then we move to. When you go beyond Elubo or Aflao, do you have Kantanka vehicles in neighboring West African countries?
We are now rolling out our marketing strategies because, like he said, we need to build the local capacity first, and then we will expand.
Okay, so not even in Lomé.
We have links with Togo. And we are taking some of the vehicles to Togo next year.
People are buying, and Burkina Faso too, and also now Niger. We are doing it, but like he said, it's a very important issue, because if there is no deliberate state policy of intervention in supporting local groups, and for that matter Kantanka, it will be difficult. And we are not sometimes even looking for direct monetary intervention. You know that when it comes to realism as a theory, it deals with protectionism.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
And every state does that. What we can do, state agencies, recently the government had some money. The president himself announced it in February this year, that they were going to retool the Ghana Police Service and give them about 1,000 vehicles. And if you are going to buy 1,000 vehicles with about 800 million Ghana cedis to retool Ghana Police Service, and Apostle Safo is here, why? Give him 10% or 20%. So if it is 1,000,
so it's not even 1% of the concession.
Not 1%. As at now, none has come. How do you build our capacity?
The Toyota saloon cars that the police have been given, the Camrys,
yes.
Would you have been able to produce
the Kantanka Mensa is similar to that of the Toyota Camry.
Excellent.
And we can take you to the showroom and show you one Kantanka Mensa. You can drive it yourself, and then you compare it to the Toyota Camry. You can drive the pickup that we bought, the Kantanka Omama, and you can drive the Hilux that has been given. Like he said, it will be difficult for us starting now to say that we are at par with Toyota or Nissan. I mean, it will be something that is illogical. But at the end of the day, you build the capacity of the local industry to reach where others have reached. And we are not sometimes even calling for direct financial support. Give us institutional support like you did for the Ghana Police. And when we built our first pickup, we donated one to the Ghana Police Service. At that time, the IGP was Mr. Alasan.
And they've not
and they've used it for the past 5 years, and the kind of testimony they are giving about the car. And this is the car that we brought. So what prevents government to say that 1,000 Kantanka take 200? We negotiate for terms of payment. Because where you are going to give them direct money. And Kantanka Automobile will get the needed support in terms of what you have bought, get the money, expand. So that is what, if we fail to do some of these interventions, then like you did mention as the topic for the program, the challenges. These are some of the challenges. If you give people mining concessions, we ask them to bring their equipment to do the mining. At the end of the day, we give them past holidays. Why? Because they are bringing technology. We are also doing same technology.
Your point is well made.
Yes.
By the close of this month, this group will carry out a mammoth exhibition event that will be graced by His Excellency the Vice President of the Republic and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We'll delve into that shortly. But before then, Council, apart from cars, what other things do you do?
Well, apart from vehicles, we do a lot of things. As I pointed out at the beginning, that the philosophy of Apostle, to some extent, I can say has a bit of self-sufficiency inbuilt there. He wants us to develop a nation. So if you look at his philosophy, when it comes to agric, he wants us to go full scale and develop our own agricultural systems. We take our education, everything. So when it comes to equipment, machinery, there's nothing that we don't manufacture. And gradually, we'll be bringing these things on the market, on commercial basis for everybody to have the chance to buy and use them. We had put on sale before musical instruments, from power amplifier to combos, speakers, electric drums,